Hey, kindergarten! It's Mrs. Posello and
Cooper.
We're back to read another story to you. This time we brought a different friend, Coop, right?
Yeah.
Who did we bring?
We call him Leo the Lion, but we really forgot his name because it's been a while since we got him.
Yeah, we don't know, but he's super cute. He's got a tail. We love his tail, right, Coop? Yeah. And he is a
Hawaiian
squashmallow. We love squashmallows. We'd collect them if we could, huh, Coop?
Yeah, they're like so comfortable.
They're so comfy. Awesome. So Coop's going to hold him throughout the reading today because it's a pretty long story, but I think he'll like it. But before we get started, I'm not going to do too much with sight words and word work today, but we are going to tell you that one of my students sent me a picture of her and her rock collection. And she has an awesome rock collection. Big rocks, and then Cooper, you know what she makes out of her rocks? What? Like those stackable creatures when we go hiking, we see all the time. Pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
So Cooper and I wanted to share our favorite rocks with you. So Cooper's dad is a big rock collector, right, Coop?
Yeah.
So do you want to share yours first?
All right, my favorite is called, it's called lapis lazuli.
Yeah, look at that. Turn it around, Coop, so we can see all the dimensions of it. And that's a pretty awesome rock. It's got a good shine to it.
Yeah.
And we love it. It's just a big rock and it's pretty, right?
It's
and
heavy.
Then my favorite rock we got from a place called Natural Stone Bridge and Caves in upstate New York. And it is a type of a jasper. But if you look at all the colors in that rock, it's pretty cool. Yeah. This is my favorite. I like it because your hand can fit it very nicely. It's got a good spot for your fingers. But anyway, we thought of our student and wanted to share some of our rocks with her. One thing that you might want to do with a rock is, we see them all over town when people paint rocks and they leave them for somebody to find. So Cooper found this one time. And it says, love, hope, and peace. And on the back it says, if found, post on Utica Rocks Facebook. Then rehide it. So we've got to go do that, don't we, Coop?
Yeah.
But it's an awesome thing. If you find a rock, you paint it, and you leave it somewhere. And was it fun to find a rock like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you guys sit up so our people can see you, Coop. Not having a hard time seeing you. Or sit up on your legs like Mommy is, okay?
All right.
All right. So our story for you today is one I've been looking for in our classroom for a while, boys and girls. It's called Horton Hatches the Egg. It's a little bit of a long story, but it's such a good story. So I'm going to read away. Coop's going to help on some parts because it's a rhyming book, and you can try to guess the rhymes too. And if you're wondering why all of our sight words are behind us, is because you will hear most, if not all, of our sight words in this story. I didn't hear make or play though, Coop. So anyway, but all the other ones are in there. Before we start, Cooper and I made a picture. We did not get from anybody else. They're our own original designs, right, yeah. Coop? And we made a picture of Horton's egg. So go ahead, Coop, show them the egg you made.
Here.
And it says, wow, that
is a big egg.
And that was Coop's original design. And that's a nest. And my egg says, the egg is colorful. And there's my egg in the nest. All right, Coop, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, so this is Horton Hatches the Egg by Dr. Seuss. Oh, we have to forgot to tell them why we're wearing these things on our head today, Coop.
Because it's hat day.
It's
or
hat day.
Like, it could be a type of hat, like a bandana.
Headband?
Headband, and what are those things called?
Bandana.
Yeah.
So you can pause the video and then go get your hat to join Cooper and I with Hat Day. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Makes it a little more fun, Coop. Ready?
Yeah.
Horton hatches the egg. I'm going to show the pictures when I'm done because this is a long story. Okay. Sighed Maisie, a lazy bird hatching an egg. I'm tired and I'm bored and I have kinks in my leg from just sitting here day after day. It's work. How I hate it. I'd much rather
play.
Sight word, play was in there. I'd take a vacation, fly off for a rest if I could find someone to stay on my nest. If I could find someone, I'd fly away free. Then Horton the elephant passed by her tree. Hello, called the lazy bird, smiling her best. You've nothing to do, and I do need a rest. Would you like to sit on the egg in my
nest?
The elephant laughed. Why, of all silly things, I haven't feathers and I haven't wings. Me on your egg? Why, that doesn't make sense. Your egg is so small, ma'am, and I'm so immense. And immense means
big.
Yeah, that's a big elephant. Tut, 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 answered Maisie. I know you're not small, but I'm sure you can do it. No trouble at all. Just sit on it softly. You're gentle and kind. Come be a good fellow. I know you won't mind. I can't, said the elephant. Please, begged the bird. I won't be gone long, sir. I give you my word. I'll hurry right back while I'll never be missed. Very well, said the elephant, since you insist. You want a vacation, go fly off and take it. I'll sit on your egg and I'll try not to break it. I'll stay and be faithful, I mean what I say. Toodaloo, sang out Maisie and fluttered away. You got it. See, it just rhymes. So try to think of the rhyme, boys and girls, and then you can fill in the blank before I can say it, right? The first thing to do, murmured Horton. Let's see. The first thing to do is to prop up this tree and make it much stronger. That has to be done. Before I get on it, I must weigh a
ton.
So ton rhymes with done.
Wait, is ton up here?
No, ton's not a sight word.
Oh.
Then carefully, tenderly, gently, he crept up the trunk to the nest where the little egg slept. And then Horton the elephant smiled. Now that's that. And he sat, and he sat, and he sat, and he
sat.
And he sat all that day. And he kept the egg warm. And he sat all that night through a terrible storm. It poured, and it lightened, it thundered, it rumbled. This isn't much fun, the poor elephant grumbled. I wish she'd come back, 'cause I'm cold and I'm wet. I hope that Maisie bird doesn't forget. But Maisie, by this time, was far beyond reach, enjoying the sunshine way off in Palm Beach and having such fun, such a wonderful rest. Decided she'd never go back to her nest. Look at her, Coop. She's enjoying herself down on that sunny beach. So Horton kept sitting there day after day, and soon it was autumn, the leaves blew away. And then came the winter, the snow and the sleet, and icicles hung from his trunk and his feet. But Horton kept sitting and said with a sneeze, I'll stay on this egg, and I won't let it freeze. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. I want them to be able to see that. Look at, he's freezing. He's got icicles. So poor Horton sat there the whole winter through, and then came the springtime with troubles anew. His friend gathered round, and they shouted with glee, Look, Horton the elephant's up in a tree. They taunted, they teased him, they yelled, how absurd. Old Horton the elephant thinks he's a
nerd.
Nerd rhymes, Scoop, but it's not a nerd. It's a bird.
Oh.
He's in a tree. He's a nerd bird.
No, because, oh my God.
That's awesome. Absurd and nerd rhyme.
Yeah.
Okay, but see why you think he's a bird? Because what is he? He's up in a
tree.
They laughed and they laughed and they all ran away, and Horton was lonely. He wanted to play, but he sat on that egg and continued to say, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%.
Thank
you, Cooper. No matter what happens, this egg must be tended. But poor Horton's troubles were far, far from ended. For while Horton sat there so faithful, so kind, 3 hunters came sneaking up softly behind. Oh no, look at the hunters, Cooper. What do you think their mission is?
To
You think they're going to hunt him? Oh, no. He heard the men's footsteps. He turned with a start. 3 rifles were aiming straight right at his heart. Did he run? He did not. Look at him standing there. Looks like he's doing a good job protecting that egg, huh? Horton stayed on that nest. He held his head high and he threw out his chest and he looked at the hunters as much as to say, shoot if you must, but I won't run away. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful.
100%.
Does he look faithful, Coop?
Yes.
Oh, yes. But the men didn't shoot, much to Horton's surprise. They dropped their 3 guns and they stared with wide eyes. Look, they all shouted. Can such a thing be? An elephant sitting on top of a
Tree?
It's strange. It's amazing. It's wonderful. New. Don't shoot him. We'll catch him. That's just what we'll do. Let's take him alive. Why, he's terribly funny. We'll sell him back home to a circus for money. So they think he's a sight to be seen, and they're going to try to make money for people peeking at him. And the first thing he knew, they had built a big wagon with ropes on the front for the pullers to drag on. They dug up his tree and they put it inside, with Horton so sad that he practically cried. We're off, the men shouted, and off they all went, with Horton unhappy. 100%. Poor Horton. Up out of the jungle, up into the sky, up over the mountains 10,000 feet high. Then down the mountains and down to the sea went the cart with the elephant, egg, nest, and tree. Good job, Coop. Do you like the story?
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
Yes, I actually do.
Then out of the wagon and onto a ship, out over the ocean, and ooh, what a trip! Rolling and tossing and splashed with the spray, and Horton said day after day after day, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant, but oh, am I seasick. 100%. Oh, he's so seasick. Look at him.
Oh no, he's over water as well. That must be so bad. You're just staring at the water.
And look at him. He's got his eyes make him. Look at his eyes, boys and girls. How Dr. Seuss drew his eyes. He's like, oh, I'm not feeling so good. I'm bobbing around. Okay. After bobbing around for 2 weeks like a cork, they landed at last in the town of New York. All ashore, the men shouted, and down with a lurch went Horton the elephant, still on his perch, tied onto a board that could just scarcely hold him. Bump, Horton landed, and then the men sold him. So a perch is a place where a bird will roost and stop and sit. Sold to a circus, then week after week, they showed him to people at 10 cents a peek. They took him to Boston, to Kalamazoo, Chicago, week walking, and Washington too. To Dayton, Ohio, St. Paul, Minnesota, to Wichita, Kansas, to Drake, North Dakota. And everywhere thousands of folks flocked to see and laugh at the elephant up in a tree. Poor Horton grew sadder the farther he went, but he said as he sat in that hot, noisy tent, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful.
100%.
You're right, Coop. And there he is. They're making money off of poor Horton. Then, one day, the circus show happened to reach a town way down south, not so far from Palm Beach. And dawdling along way up high in the sky, who, of all people, should chance to fly by? But that old good-for-nothing bird, Runaway Maisie, still on vacation and still just as lazy. And spying the flags and the tents just below, she sang out, what fun, while I'll go to the
show.
Nice, Coop. And she swooped from the clouds through an open tent door. Good gracious, gasped Maisie. I've seen you before. Poor Horton looked up with his face white as chalk. He started to speak, but before he could talk. Look at that face when he saw that bird and that bird saw him. Uh-oh.
Oh.
There rang out the noisiest, ear-splitting squeaks from the egg that he'd sat on for 51
Weeks.
A thumping, a bumping, a wild alive scratching. My egg! Shouted Horton. My egg! Why, it's
Hatching.
Good job, Coop. Look at it breaking apart. Hey, if we want to make our egg break apart, all we have to do is draw a little squiggle line right across, right, Coop?
Yeah.
It looks like it's cracking. Maybe we should do that next. Cracking egg. But it's mine, screamed the bird when she heard the egg crack. The work was all done. Now she wanted it back. It's my egg, she sputtered. You stole it from me. Get off of my nest and get out of my tree. Poor Horton backed down with a sad, heavy heart. But at that very instant, the egg burst apart, and out of the pieces of red and white shell from the egg that he'd sat on so long and so well, Horton the elephant saw something whiz. It had ears and a tail and a trunk just like his. Look at that, Coop.
Yeah.
It looks like...
Elephant bird.
And the people came shouting, "What's all this about?" They looked and they stared with their eyes popping out. Then they cheered and they cheered and they cheered more and more. They'd never seen anything like it before. My goodness, my gracious, they shouted. My word, it's something brand new. It's an elephant bird. And it should be, it should be, it should be like that. Because Horton was faithful. He sat and he
Sat.
He meant what he said and he said what he
Meant.
And they sent him home happy. 100%.
Yeah,
And I forgot to show you this page, I think. So look at it. It's an elephant bird. And then the very last picture was Horton going home happy to all of his jungle friends, like our Leo the lion, right, Cooper?
Yeah.
All right. And then Cooper and I didn't just want to do one picture. We did a second picture. So Cooper, what was the other picture we made?
We didn't want to spoil it, but it was an elephant bird.
Look, I am an elephant bird, Cooper says. And mine, there's my elephant bird, said the bird is an elephant too. And there we go. So he has wings for his ears and wings on his sides, and he has the tail like Horton and the nose like Horton. So if you liked this book and you had fun, you might want to draw an egg and an elephant bird. We love Dr. Seuss, don't we, Coop?
Yeah, he rhymes. His rhyming is so funny.
It's so funny, isn't it? All right. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time, boys and girls, for another fun reading with Cooper and I. Okay. Bye.